What's up, everybody? My name's Nazario. I have recently been studying record deals and record contracts and trying to understand them better. And I learned some interesting information about how an advance works. And I feel like a lot of people misunderstand them. So I decided I would throw together a video real quick about how a record deal advance actually works. So we're gonna get into that right now. Let's go. The first thing you need to know about an advance on a record deal is that it is actually more like a bank loan. That money is supposed to be spent on making your first album. So let's say they give you an advance of $100,000 with your record deal. So we have an expense over here at the label, $100,000. Then we have a profit of an income of $100,000 here. So now you have $100,000. Now, what happens to a lot of people is they don't realize that it's like a bank loan and they have to pay that money back to the label. Now, the way that this works is the label has a clause that says that you get a royalty in your record for any record sales or anything that happens, depending on if you have a 360 deal or not. Most record deals today are 360 deals, so we're gonna go with the assumption that this is a 360 deal. So let's say that the record label gives you a 15% royalty for everything that's sold. So we're gonna give you 15%, which means that the record label gets 85%. So now what ends up happening is this $100,000 that you spend has to be paid back from this 15% of money that you make. It's not gonna be the overall profit that you make as an artist. It's gonna be anything out of that 15% royalty that you receive. So let's go through an example of stuff that may actually happen with artists that don't really know what they're doing, that don't really understand how an advance works. So let's say the first thing that this artist did is they went out and they bought new clothes and a new car. So let's say they spent about $5,000 on clothes. So they now have $95,000. Now, let's say they also went out and bought a car. So that means, and let's say, I think I saw that a Jeep Wrangler is about $50,000. I don't know, they like Jeep Wranglers. So they got a Jeep Wrangler for $50,000. So now they've already spent $55,000 of their record deal, which now leaves them with $45,000 left of that advance. So let's say that then it's like they decide, okay, let's get into this album making process. So the first thing they do is the record label will tell them, hey, we're gonna book you in these studios, whatever, blah, 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 don't worry about it. But what is actually happening is the record label is paying for the studio out of that advance that they gave you. So let's say that this studio that they're booking you for, let's say you book it for 2 weeks, and let's say it's like $1,400 a day. So we're gonna just round it up. I think that should come up to somewhere around $20,000. So that leaves us with $15,000. So now, let's say they get a producer. Let's say that they hire a couple producers. The producers, at the end of the day, they have to pay them the upfront, their advance of, let's say, $10,000 for everything that they did for this album. Let's say it's an EP. So they had to pay $10,000 for an album, for their EP, for the production. Now, that only leaves us with $5,000 left. Let me double check my math real quick. Correction, I knew I did something wrong. That should be $25,000. So then they have a $20,000 expense. So now they have $15,000 left. Okay, there we go, we got all this worked out. Next, let's say that now they've gotten all this done. We're just gonna assume that the studio mixed everything within that $14,000, so we don't have to worry about charging that. Now, we have $15,000 left. Let's say the record label hears the album, they think, okay, and they say, okay, we need to pay for promotion. We're gonna put $75,000 promotion into this. So at this time, the record label has only spent $100,000 for you. So if we come down here and we're saying that they're spending $75,000 on promotion, they're taking $15,000 out of that extra $15,000 and then giving you another remainder. I can't do math. Let me figure out this answer real quick. So 75,000 minus 15,000. So the record label is gonna put $60,000 into this promotion. So promotion of the project is $75,000. And that's 60,000 out of the budget of the label, but they're charging that to you, keep that in mind. And then that's your remaining 15,000. So now you are at quote unquote zero, and the label puts you at another, and the label is now at $160,000 that you owe them. So that's how far they're in the hole. Now, in reality, this is not actually zero. What we're looking at is you are in the hole. You are in the hole $160,000. Now, let's say the album comes out, and let's say it sells, let's say $500,000. So first, before I do that, let me reflect what this actually is. 160,000. So we're in the hole 160,000, just like the label. So let's say that the album makes $500,000 for that. It sells $500,000 worth of units or something, whatever. So let's say we've made that. Now, here's where the percentages come in. You as an artist only get 15% of this $500,000. So that means that you only get $75,000 that goes towards this deficit that you have. So you get a profit of $75,000, and the label gets a profit of $425,000. Now, that does not go towards this $160,000. That's just a complete separate amount of money that they get that is profit for them. You still owe them, so this is profit for them. Let me put that there. Profit. So we're gonna completely ignore this. It's like this never even goes towards this deficit. So you still owe them $160,000. And now the remainder that you have to pay them back is, let's see, 160,000 minus 75. Let me see, get that in a better shot. So now you owe them $85,000. So that means that this comes out. That's a profit to them. That should not. That yeah. Anyways, so yeah. So now you owe them $85,000. So now, as you can see, you haven't completely paid off this entire profit. So then it's time to make your next album. So what happens then? They give you another advance of $100,000. So now 100,000 comes out of their pocket, and you're back in the hole, $185,000. And this is the model that record labels use a lot. Basically, they always keep their artist in debt. Now, there are probably ways that we can talk about that can help you work around this system, but the best approach is to know what you're getting yourself into before you sign a record deal and make sure that it's right for you. If you're not prepared to handle the bit to look at your music as a business, then it's probably best to not sign a record deal, because you will end up in debt to the record label, which will then keep you broke. That's why a lot of artists end up basically having no money after they sold millions of albums. For example, TLC got upset with their label because they had sold all these albums, yet they made no money. So anyways, like I said, I just wanted to break this down real quick for you. I hope that this looks good enough to understand and digest. If you know somebody that's looking at a record deal, just show them this video, show them anything, like show them content that can help them be prepared, this also goes for you. I'm just trying to better prepare artists so they know what they're getting themselves into when it comes to business in the music industry. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions, or just leave them in the comment section. If there's another video you want me to make, just let me know. But nonetheless, that is the whole video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.